Hello everyone, and welcome back to the third installment of MicahBytes, where I give you a few small little helpful tips to make your life in Eorzea just a little bit better. And today I have a couple tips for you, but I'm going to start with the one that I actually mentioned in another video. But I want to expand upon it because there were so many people who said in the comments that it was one of the most helpful extra tips that I've thrown into my walkthrough videos. So go ahead, sit back, relax, and let's begin with Focus Target. Now you may be asking yourself, what exactly is Focus Target? I've never heard of this thing before. Well, it's the ability to set a permanent target, a focused target if you will, on literally anything that can be targeted. Enemies, party members, random mobs running around the world, minions, whatever. And this focus target's going to stay as long as you're within range, and whatever you have it set to is still targetable. It's an absolutely amazing piece of your HUD that most people I don't even think really know exists. But it's going to make your life so much easier, especially if you're a healer. I mean, it's a wonder for everyone, but you healers really need to pay attention, because I see you marking your tanks with those large obnoxious circles and triangles that they have in the party markers. But those are often unnecessary and frankly just kind of annoying and distracting to have flying around your screen sometimes. So the first thing you need to know is that, like with any other piece of your HUD, you can move this around and resize it to make it as convenient for you as you need it to be. I personally put mine over my HP and MP bars because I'm often already glancing at them on a regular basis anyway. And to do this, all you need to do is open up your HUD panel by going to the main menu, clicking on System, then HUD Layout. Locate the focus target bar, and then you can go back to the HUD layout panel and change both its size and transparency to your liking. Then simply hover your mouse over the focus target box, drag and drop it wherever you want it to be. I also did a whole video on how to change your HUD and a bunch of little tricks to personalize it to your liking if you're curious at all as to how this panel works. I'll link that both in the corner of this video and at the end so you can watch it at your convenience. The next thing you may want to do is to go back to the system menu and select keybinds. Then simply click on the targeting tab and find set focus target. Select the key you want to bound to and then click apply to save the changes. By default, the focus target is going to be set to Control F on your keyboard, but that to me is just too much trouble. I really like only having to click a single key, so I changed it to be just F. And now all I have to do when I enter a fight is to target the person or enemy that I want to keep tabs on and click F. Boom, focus targeted. But why would I even want to do this? I already have so much cluttering up my screen, you may ask yourself. Well, Focus Target has a lot of benefits. First of all, it's going to allow you to keep track of your target even if you need to target something else. The Focus Target HUD element's also going to let you know their current HP, what they're currently casting, what buffs and debuffs they have, and it's going to give you another way to quickly target that person, object, or enemy. So if you're a healer, you can keep track on the tank and the boss. And since it keeps a small indicator on top of your target, you're also able to keep tabs on where they're at. So no need to annoy the rest of your party with those large obnoxious icons over the head of your tank. This is also great to use on bosses, because even if you have to target something else for heals, raises, to interact with it, or to activate another ability, you're always going to know what that boss is doing, and this way you can avoid any attacks that would have otherwise hit you while you were distracted. It will even sometimes also tell you if the boss is preparing an attack while it's off screen. Not to mention, it's also really helpful for things like escort fates or any other quests that require you to keep an NPC alive. Simply focus target that NPC, and then you can keep tabs on their health and their location while fighting off any mobs that come your way. Another great way you can use this is to keep track of other party members, because no one's going to be informed that you're using Focus Target or who you're using it on. So if there's a member of your party that you feel is just slacking off and hoping that they're going to get carried without anybody noticing, or if you need to keep tabs on someone to help them learn a piece of content, you can simply focus target them. Now, this is not going to tell you everything, of course. It's not going to act as a DPS meter. It's not going to tell you their exact rotation or anything like that, but it can help. It's also great as a healer to keep tabs on that one person who either never wants to, or is new and simply doesn't know when to, dodge or stack, so you can easily rescue them out of harm's way. Focus target is one of those things that when used correctly or creatively can completely change the way you play this game, especially when it comes to battle. I highly recommend using focus target in pretty much every situation so you get used to using it. It's so simple and easy to use, and it's just so helpful in so many situations. Not to mention, it's going to save your butt more often than you may think. Give it a try, and please, if you know of any other ways or if you find any creative ways to use focus target, let me know. I'm always interested. Next, I want to talk to you about Echo. No, not the Echo, that amazing ability given to us that allows us to see the past, but the text command /ECHO. This is another one of those things that I just don't think a lot of people know even exists, especially if they're new to an MMO. Although, to be fair, I'm really not sure how many MMOs actually have a similar command. So what Echo is a way to add text or sound effects to a macro or a text command that's only seen and heard by you. And this is a fantastic thing for anybody who needs to be reminded of something. Say you have an ability that has a really lengthy cooldown and you want to have a reminder to use it. You can set both a text and a sound alert that's going to let you know when that ability actually becomes active again. Now I need to say this. Under normal circumstances, using macros for battle is a bad thing. This game is simply not designed for battle using macros. You're going to clip into your global cooldowns, they do not queue an action like hitting the actual action button would. They're not always reliable, and your DPS loss is going to be significantly noticeable. You generally never ever want to macro anything in battle. They should at the most be used incredibly sparingly. But having one ability macroed that's off the global cooldown is not going to be too detrimental to your rotation or overall battle prowess. This only limits you to one macro as well, because if you fire off in an action using a macro, and it has a timer of say 10-15 seconds or whatever to it, any other macro you hit during that time is going to cancel that first macro, and therefore it's just not going to give you that reminder. So this is limited to a single ability at a time. This is also a really good thing if you want to roleplay without disturbing other players around you. It's almost like using tells instead of having open air conversations, which, I mean, are honestly just so incredibly annoying to all of us non-role players. You can set macros with as much text or as many sound effects as you want to add the flavor to the game that you crave, or to have your character say something to keep it within its role-playing parameters. And that's important because, well, just let me tell you a quick story about this. So we have this command in Final Fantasy XI as well, and since combat in Final Fantasy XI is very macro-based, you would have role players who would add strings of text to their abilities, and more than once, you'd be in a party or you'd be next to someone in a party who would have all this text like, "By the grace of Altana, I shall heal your wounds and bring you succor," or some such nonsense. And believe me, those people were mass blacklisted, mass reported, and frankly, just plain bullied, because no one wants their chat box filled with your roleplay. And I'm not saying roleplaying is bad or anything of that sort. If you like roleplay, go ahead and enjoy it. By all means, indulge in all your roleplaying whatevers. But keeping it as non-public as possible, especially on a non-role-playing server, by using commands like tell or echo, is just a nice thing to do. But I think that's it for the third installment of MicroBytes. I hope this was helpful and it makes your time in Eorzea just a little bit better. As always, if you have any questions, comments, or you would like me to cover anything in particular, feel free to drop it in the comments below or shoot me off a message. And if this was helpful, a like and a sub if you have not already would be greatly appreciated. And while you're down there, you can follow me on Twitter, which is linked in the description. No pressure though, never any pressure. And as per the usual, it has been a hoot. Until next time, have fun.